Hello, it's Rom. I've seen a lot of you in the comments asking for a solo Withered rerun or saying the old strategy is a bit harder now, and it doesn't work anymore. It still does. It is a bit harder. So instead of making the same guide again, I want to show you a different approach. I think this method is a lot easier. It's much more consistent, and it should be a lot more approachable as well if you're looking to solo the Withered race yourself. Let's get started. So, how do we solo the Withered race? Well, we have to beat the master, take the deal, and defeat the bone drake. And this is how we're going to do it. For this run, we're using Dwarf Race, and when it comes to the boon, there's only one, Potential Bunny. Now, hold on. You might be thinking, Rom, how are we supposed to get Potential Bunny boon? For that, I already have a guide on how to get it, but I did it using the Withered Race. But I'll also leave a link in the description for how I soloed the potential bunny boon using the dwarf race. They use the same concept and the same strat, so it's basically the same thing, except the races are different. For our class, we're going priest with the druid subclass, and that's our entire setup, or at least almost. Later in this video, I'll reveal a hidden piece of tech that makes this run almost impossible to mess up by abusing the game's mechanics to their absolute limit. With the setup complete, let's jump into the route. From Forest 1-8 to 4-8, I want you to invest the first 15 stat points into Constitution. Scavenge and get your subclass, that's all. During these encounters, you're only looking for one specific encounter, a resting druid. The sooner you find it, the sooner you unlock your subclass, which will save you time. After the encounter 4-8, you can do whatever you prefer, whether that's fighting the vampire, defeating the monk, or even the traveling bard. They all have good charms that you can use. Or you can even continue to scavenge. It really doesn't matter. Any of those options will work. While you're at it, try and make yourself some gear that just gives faith. And after you've put 15 points into your constitution, you can go ahead and dump the rest into faith. At 7-8, you will need to find the Elven camp. I think this encounter is required as it's our route into the mines. And I feel like I don't have to explain it too much, but the reason we've been scavenging and the reason we're going into the mines is pretty simple. It's EXP. It sounds simple enough, and that's because it is. With potential bunny scaling off of any and all stats, you're looking to make the most of getting levels. So the mines and scavenging will do just that before our fights in the dungeon. The mines. The mines can reward us with some useful charms and gear that make the rest of this run much easier. And here are some of the few events we're looking for. The Dwarven Slayer, the Artificer, the Paladin, and the Robot Graveyard. If you come across a shop, take it. You can also craft yourself a gemstone helmet and pick up a few minor healing potions while you're there. The reason why we're fighting so much, it's pretty simple. It's just EXP and of course levels. Now, in this run specifically, I didn't get the Artificer or the Paladin. I actually had another run where everything went my way and I beat the Bone Drake with few healing potions to spare, but I wanted to show this run instead. AAC is a game with a lot of RNG, and not everything is going to be in your control. Sometimes you'll find every event you're looking for, other times you won't. You'll miss key encounters, and you just have to work with what you have. That's just the nature of the game. Now, if your run truly is doomed and you feel like there's nothing you can do, it's okay to reset and try again. But more often than not, you'll find that you can still adapt and keep going, even when things aren't like going your way. That's why I chose this run. Not because everything went perfectly, but because it shows how you recover from it and how to keep going. Okay, so I've been avoiding talking about combat because honestly, it's kind of brain dead. You just have to cast Nature's Gift on your bunny, attack, use any of its move off cooldown, repeat. That's it. That's the strategy. Everything else in your kit is just there to keep you or sometimes the bunny alive and sustained, and you just let the bunny go to work. I've, as I've said before in my live stream, I think Priest is an S tier or maybe even just outright broken. And once you understand how to play it, solo runs become incredibly forgiving, especially with potential bunny. It just takes a little extra time, but there's just no way you can die. The dungeon. Let's talk. Of course, there are events such as the Knight's Caravan, the Lone Zealot, or other events you can take for more gear and XP. It doesn't matter because at this point, there's only one thing we're searching for. It's not a scavenge item, it's not even an event, it's a mob. Okay, I'm sure some of you wrinkled brain folks already know what I'm about to say, but for those of you that don't, we're hunting for an undead mage. Hold on, hold on. If you're confused, just give me a second. The reason we're looking for an undead mage is because it has one specific ability. You see, it has three abilities: Necrotic Cloud, Death Bolt, and most importantly, Summon Skeleton. You see, killing these skeletons give you 0 experience. That's balanced. However, they still drop gold and loot. So as a druid, you have access to enough healing and cleanse to make this fight go on forever. Infinite. I mean that literally. And since the undead mage can keep summoning skeletons, you can keep defeating them over and over and over again, farming an unlimited amount of gold and drops before finishing the fight. That's the hidden tech I mentioned earlier. By the time I finished my fight with this undead mage and I lost my patience, I earned over, I think, like 300 extra gold and 38 bone fragments. This completely changes the rest of the run. With all that extra gold, you can buy so many healing potions from an unblinking eye event that the Mirror Master fight and the Bone Drake fight becomes a literal joke. This is why I said this strategy is almost impossible to mess up. You're taking a normally resource starved run and turning it into one where you have more healing than you'll ever realistically need or ever get. Now, notice how I said the strategy is almost impossible to mess up. That's because it's still an RNG game. In my run, I never found a good shop or an unblinking eye event, so I couldn't cash in all that extra gold. If you do find one, the Mirror Master fight and the Bone Drake becomes a complete joke. But if you don't, that's okay too. Sometimes RNG just doesn't go your way and you gotta work with what you got. In my case, I kept going because priest or druid especially is just a broken class. The class will let you survive, adapt, and still clear the run even when things don't go perfectly. And I had brought a couple of potions back in the mines. Yeah, that too. So the Mirror Master fight is pretty simple. You just want to keep yourself topped up with heals and always have Nature's Gift on your bunny. The bunny will handle most of the damage while you just focus on surviving and sustaining. Um, that means just heal whenever you're low. From there, it's a matter of just being consistent to stay alive and then keep your buff active. One thing I will say is don't make your bunny focus. Just keep attacking with it. Making it focus will make it take more damage and potentially die. And you don't want to lose out all on your damage for a couple of turns while the boss just gets free hits on you. Another thing is don't save up on energy on your bunny. Just use any of the moves when it's available, except the roar one. Um, Saving up all the way for the 5 cost, you just lose out on so much damage you could be potentially dealing. It's not worth it. After beating the Mirror Master, craft the Chain of Command and equip it on one of your charm slots. You see, as a dwarf, you already have 10% more max HP, and the Chain of Command adds another 10% on top of that. That extra health makes a huge difference going into the Bone Drake fight, and it makes the entire endgame a lot safer even after taking the deal with the Master. Okay, skipping to the Drake fight, it's pretty much the same thing as the Mirror Master, except there's two small difference. Actually, three. First, I'd recommend you have some like an energy potion in the beginning, just so you could start with it. It makes the fight a lot easier. Second, when you get the Bane's Lord effect, just hold guard or heal if you really need to. Secondly, I mean, third, if the Drake summons a minion, just take it out immediately. You don't want it to build up while you're trying to sustain the main fight. Other than that, the idea is the same as the mirror fight. Nature's gift on your bunny. Stay alive, keep your setup running, and let the bunny do the work on the Drake, and then just hold guard, you know? And then you can also cleanse some of his poison with restore life. So yeah, it should be pretty easy, not a problem. Especially if you are stocked up on healing potions. But yeah, and that's pretty much solo Withered. At the end of the day, the run comes down to just abusing the undead mage for resources and using the advantage to power through the mirror fight and the bone drake. But remember, it's still an RNG. Sometimes you won't get the perfect run, sometimes you will. The difference is just knowing when to adapt and when to reset. If everything lines up, this strategy is incredibly consistent. And um, if it doesn't line up, just reset, try again. If you want to see the full uncut run, I'll put a link in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and only a small percent, you know how the whole subscribe thing goes. Alright, thanks for watching. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.